Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to the High Life Summit, how to quickly master your vibration and thoughts to live a life of success, significance, and joy. I am your host, Melanie Newman, and I am absolutely thrilled to spend time with our expert, Aliky. Karopis. I had it, but I forgot. Can you tell us how to say your last name again, Aliky?
Oh, it's Aliky Karopis. Perfect, Melanie.
Aliky Karopis. Okay, I wanted to get that right. But listeners, let me tell you a bit about her. She is awesome and so much fun. Aliky guides success-minded entrepreneurs, business professionals, and highly conscious spiritual seekers to align with the frequency of their divine soul blueprint to co-create abundance in all areas of their life, so that they can manifest quickly the lifestyle that they would love to live. That is to repair and develop the spirit in order to heal and positively evolve the spirit and physical body so greatness and fulfillment of one's life mission can be realized. Aliky, you have so much here that is just in alignment with the topic of our summit on. So let's just jump. First off, thank you for being here before I jump right in. Thank you.
My absolute honor. I'm really in alignment, Melanie, with what you're facilitating here with the collective that's, here listening with us today. It's a privilege. It really is. So thank you for inviting me on.
Thank you so much. You mentioned, or when we were visiting before, about my purpose for this summit and how I really have the strong desire to help others understand how much power, how much potential and capacity they have to direct their lives, especially through thought, through vibration, just that we are so much more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. What can you share with us about that direction? What do you do? How does that explain that to us? Your whole bio just really had a lot to do with that. Can you share with us more about how we direct our lives?
Absolutely. So firstly, I want to say that for the folks that are quite sensitive and aware on the phone that are very spiritually inclined or empathetic or sensitive, I just want to bring this to your attention. Even if you've got children and dogs around, when I'm in mode and I'm so inspired to be in my heart and my essence when I'm speaking with people who are gifted like Melanie, the energy is very powerful, and it's not going to harm anything. It's basically going to be exactly the energy that you need to receive at this time. So I highly encourage you to re-listen to our interview, because when I talk, I'm channeling. So we're going to receive a lot of information, golden nuggets for exactly what you need to know. Because to be quite candid, the grand organized designs and the universe and the galaxies that we're connected to or not connected to or we're connected to, it's so vast. We're not even a pin drop in amongst it all. And I say that just to bring humility and humbleness to who we really are, which is so much more than we know. Beyond the mind, body, spirit, and the environment, our spiritual structures are so divine. Really. And whoever you are here to be, your purpose, your uniqueness, no one, I'm going to sound like Dr. Seuss now because I have a 5-year-old, but what I do know is no one is youer than you. There is no one with the same set of values that inspires you with entheos, with co-creating who you are here to be, other than you. And for some of you, like Melanie and I, who are courageous enough to put our hands up to share our journeys, to inspire others through going through something similar or different, and pull you into your genius, your love, your wisdom, that zone where it's formless, stateless, the cosmic consciousness, the unified field. That's what we do. And I say the collective we, as in me and the work that I do, and also Melanie with her intention for you during this summit. So in essence, if I help people to repair and develop the spirit in order to heal and positively evolve the physical and spiritual body so that your greatness and fulfillment can be realized. That can be also described as, it's my deep desire to help people who love to help people. And if you've got a purpose or a calling beyond yourself, and also so that you can be, do, and have and live the life and co-create the love that you love, because you are a co-creator, particularly if you're a woman. Women are very attuned and sensitive to this, and it can be quite overwhelming and confusing, especially when we're empathetic or hypersensitive or just generally visioned and mission, you know. I have a corporate background too, so I speak both to left and right brains. But in essence, you're here to do something great because you're here in the greatest times ever. You're on this call with us. And I invite you just for this call to really go into perhaps even some high quality questions that are going to emerge a little more of that open wonder and thinking for you. So I hope that answered the roundabout question, Melanie, but I'm also here to help people understand or guide or help them mimic, you know, knowing yourself, know thyself, and knowing your nature.
Yes. It's so beautiful what you're saying, and I just, it enlivens me to hear that, to be reminded that we have a purpose here. We are here to co-create, and let's find out what that purpose is and reach out for that. And I believe that's why the listeners are here listening. They want to know what more they have to offer and how to go about it. So someone who's in that space and they want to grow, they want to reach and stretch, what would you tell them? How should they start?
Beautiful question. And I'm going to give both answers, like right, left brain, but you'll feel it from my heart. Firstly, I will say this. Knowing my place and receiving and paying attention to my gifts, my talents, my values, has really inspired more receiving and more abundance, right? So the prosperity shows up or the resource shows up. I'm at the right place at the right time. But because I'm in flow, and if I get out of flow, I'm aware of how to bring myself back into flow because I cultivate that. And I'll go into the two highest quality questions you can actually ask yourself today that's going to open up a can of worms in such a good way. I also want to say that there's certain abilities or gifts that I have that my clients tell me about, like a fever in, someone's children that immediately stopped after 5 seconds on the phone with me because of my gifts and the study I do, with medical practitioners, or, the energy background I have, to be able to scan truth in matter. And I wouldn't have even been able to write that on a list. So I'm just going to say that again. Some of the gifts or what I'm able to share or do for my clients and for ever greater numbers of people, including my son and my family, I would not have been able to ask for them. What does that mean? Well, it means that I'm open to knowing my place. I'm receiving my gifts, and I'm, grateful. And when you practice the art of gratitude, when you have more to be thankful for, you simply receive more to be thankful for. It's a byproduct of you spending time with your essence, your joy, your enthusiasm, and theos, co-creation with, theos, God, that's the Greek coming out of me, to enliven your values, your enthusiasm, your joy, to co-create, to cultivate that from a place of love. Not just love, I'm in love, love. I'm saying seeing the duality of the lessons that the soul has here and going into the flow of it, so that you can know and be on path, knowing without knowing where the finger's pointing on, and see things on the way versus in the way. And that sounds all very inspiring and theoretical, but that's a fact. And I want to inspire you to maybe write a few notes that really stand the test of time for you about who you really are and what goals or where your organization is, where your values are. But if you'd like to write down 2 high-quality questions, the first one I'd love to guide you to ask yourself is, what specifically do I perceive or am I missing in my life? I'm going to say that again. What specifically am I missing in my life? I'm going to counter that with, you're actually not missing it, person, place, or thing. I can assure you of that. How do I know? Well, it's universal law, and I see it, and I've seen it in all the miracles I've witnessed and all the people that have broken through whatever they're looking to emerge for themselves in their greatness. Secondly, what form is it in at present? So what you perceive as missing or not in the state of abundance and fully, immersed in, ask yourself, invite yourself to actually look around in your life and see what form it is in at present. So, simple example, if you are quite successful in career or business, or you know how to get stuff done, right? So you've got a drive. It's like, well, where's the, I'm single, I don't have an intimacy in my life, where's the drive? Well, see where it's being expressed in areas of your life where you're successful and you're energizing and co-creating with and have that drive. Or, well, where's the relationship? Well, you might have the form of a relationship as you define a relationship with an intimate partner, a man or woman, doesn't matter. Everyone's got a heart and soul, right? And you might say, well, I define a relationship like this, and I see the form that it exists in the many because I have a relationship with this dynamic, and you start to see the form of where it exists because the grand organized design is literally the grand organized design that has placed you here. You put your hand up to actually be here and find fulfillment. We're not, and part of worshiping the mind and the emotions, if we feel something's not missing and we feel it greatly, is that frequency of love that we're energizing something that really might be more of what the mind perceives or what the emotions feel. And we're not really connecting to our higher self or our essence. That's the first thing. The second thing on the left brain side is if we're injecting other people's projections, we can be potentially subordinating to doing something that someone else wants us to do versus what we truly want to do and who we truly are from our truth. That's congruent with our truth, and our truth ultimately is the higher truth because the truth sustains the test of all time. And so if you look at that, you can ask yourself those two high-quality questions, but you can also see what is your values because you may perceive things missing where your values are because that's where you have the greatest organization. That's how you introduce yourself. That's where you have order. That's where you, what you love to think and think about, what you do if you had all the money, resources, time in the world to get up out of bed. They're your values. Whatever's in the top four is usually what gets executed and more self-mastery because you're practicing. You're cultivating. So what I say, go back to everything's about a frequency of love. And when you see the love in nature, around you, in you, more and above all, because we are in busy, busy times. So if I could invite you to ask yourself those questions and really see that nothing is missing. And when I say nothing is missing, go back in time. There's no mistakes. You'll be like, what? There's no mistakes. I screwed up. I did this. Hey, become your own mother. Become your own father and nurturer. Whatever happened in the past is guilt, past remembered guilt. And we need to go there sometimes to see that there is no mistakes. We go there to break through and understand how it served us versus hindered us. And fill the gap, fill the void. And then if you look in the future unknown fear, the false evidence appearing real, the future will come soon enough. These are the two emotional mental traits that every woman or man or children are really just so pure to work with, actually. Animals instant. But, when women and men come to me and, the worshipping or the mind and the mental and the emotional is just taken over, we've become fragmented. We've been living in the future or in the past. We can't be in the present to co-create from now because all the universe sees is the energy of now. So I say this to you lovingly, and I've kind of spelt out a whole formula here. So if I was just to net it out and break it down, from my heart, from my knowing of instantaneous breakthrough, which happens in a split second when you've done the work to learn more about you, know thyself, know your space, know your position in nature, know your grand organized design, your spirit, your soul, your essence, God, whatever you want to call it. When you tune into that, cultivate that, spend more time with you, the universe sees you as spending time with you in creation. So if you go back to what specifically you perceive missing and find the form that it exists in the present, you'll feel more whole. You'll see the cup with the water and the glass half full, connected to the tap, the river, the lakes, the oceans, the body of water in you, the body of water in the earth, and all of a sudden, life doesn't feel so burdening anymore. And you come and create from that space, because that's the best space to create for. Otherwise, you're creating something other than love FM, love frequency. So I hope that inspired a few thoughts and actions or inactions or time out for yourself. You got to master yourself.
Okay. And that's what I'm hearing a lot in what you're saying is we really need to have that self-introspection. We need to take that time to be honest with ourselves, with where we are. Any advice on how to do that for those who are not used to going inward to ask those important questions? What can we do?
So the important question that I mentioned earlier, what you perceive missing, and then what form is it in present, that's going to illustrate to you that you are supported, that there is a form or a trait that exists, because everybody has every trait. It would be self-righteous of me to say that, I'm not perceived at mean sometimes, or something like that. Because a true leader, someone who masters their destiny versus is a victim of their history, will expect. The inner leader awakens, the prefrontal cortex, the visionary brain, the strategic brain starts to activate more in you. It's your higher brain, your higher self. And when you have your heart connected to that, boom, you get to live the life that you love. And people who charge you, or person, place, or thing that have hindered your progress, or perceived to have hindered or hurt you or traumatized you, because no matter what anyone's done or not done, they're worthy of love. And they simply become more of who you love, because it's who you love is you. So going back to that, if there is a moment where you perceive someone to have hurt you or not listened to you, let's say I'm not being listened to. Well, firstly, the word I am means I am is the soul. You're talking to the soul, so get your language right. But okay, secondly, right. That's a cute one. It's like, I am sick. No, you're not sick. You can't be the body, the thought, or the emotion. I am the soul. Aha. Okay, say that to yourself 10 times, and I bet you'll feel 10 times better. Okay, so let's go back. So let's say I don't feel listened to. Okay, let's just label that. So we're not being nebulous and going into when I don't feel listened to, I act like this, I feel like this, da, da, da. Let's just say I'm not listened to. What specifically, when you're not feeling listened to, what does that make you feel? Label the trait. Just you feel disrespected or something like that. Just say disrespected. Write it down. What is the opposite to disrespected? Easy. Being respected, being listened to. Because being respected is a way you describe, I feel respected, I feel honoured. Like I feel honoured just speaking with Melanie and with you right now who's listening. I feel honoured to be in your presence because you're so much greater than you think you are. You're so much more powerful than you think you are sometimes. And even when you think you're there, you get humbled to get the next lesson in love. So go back to, where am I respected? Look around and find 20 people who can say, if you ask them, respect you. I guarantee you'd find someone to perceive respecting you. You'd be like, for this one person that disrespected me in this moment or told me off or cut me off in the lane, I can think of 20 other people instantaneously, or my dog at home, or my beautiful son, or my co-worker, or the trees, the mountain, the sun, and the moon that shows up for me every day, who actually respects me enough and loves me no matter what. And everyone's got that person. Everyone does. At least one person.
Wow.
And when you see that, you'll be like, aha, my throat heart just opened. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful to receive that wisdom in this moment instantaneously. I know I'm respected. Even though this person did this to me or does this to me freaking continuously, it's like, well, hang on, I'm respected. Then you look in the who respects you, you'll be like, oh, well, this is where I spend most of my time. This is where I've got more mastery. This is where my values are. Okay, and then you're like, okay, I'm humbled. I see the grand organized design. And then you'll be like, okay, how does it benefit me? Next question, how does it benefit me when this person, or when I feel disrespected like this, how does it benefit me when that person does that? You'll be like, oh, there's no benefits. That's skepticism talking. That's not your heart talking. Because when you open up to the heart and seeing the wisdom of your soul lessons in love and the duality that exists in this very moment or in a past moment, you'll start to see it benefits you. Why? Because you get humbled. It stops presiding elation. You actually start to create a better way to communicate. You go back into what you do know works, because that's where you have mastery and you feel like you can respect yourself that way. Because if no one else is going to do it, you're going to do it. And guess what your nature is? Your nature is of soul. Because when your soul is not safe, my dear, it will not be open to all the golden nuggets that are right there under your nose. When you shut that off, when you cut that off, you're denying yourself of the love that you're worthy of right now. So that, Melanie, hopefully,
yes,
coming from me,
yes,
because I've seen this thousands of times. This is how I can get rid of a fever, or work with folks with ailments, or work with folks, overwhelmed, busy, high performers, or stressed out people, post-traumatic stress, whatever it is, to find their own love and wisdom that's right under their nose. You can inspire purpose this way, clarity this way, see how you're contributing to your own life and see how you contribute to the life of others. You find gratitude by having a go-to gratitude list. Again, when you have more to be thankful for, count your blessings, you will simply receive more to be grateful for. And when you're in that zone, it's introspection, it's bliss, it's love. For the yogis and the meditators on the phone, this is how I experience samadhi every day. This is how I get to transmit samadhi and bliss and soul ray of healing and regeneration, around me, for me, to those I get to be around, and I'm honored to be around.
Yes.
And when I'm clear on my values and what's important to me and my son and my life and my well-being and my ability to serve over greater numbers of people, I'm an energy bodybuilder. I spend time there. I cultivate, co-create that, and I honor that because I can honor so many people to help them alleviate suffering on some level. And so when you start to align your actions or inactions, here's another hot tip. When you align your actions or inactions with your values, and I'm not going to say the word boundaries and saying no and shoving people off and shutting people out. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying when in love, when you're in the frequency of your actions or inactions aligned with your values, when they're aligned with their actions or inactions, again, values, what's important to you? You're cultivating more of that. You can't fail because you're connected to you. You're connected, you're grounded, you're connected to your Atma, your soul, your Paratma, the grand organized design. You support it no matter what you do. So you're not so fearful. And then you receive the downloads, the wisdom, the channeling, the right people turn up. You're in flow.
Yes. You're in flow.
That's the sequence of how it works. Yeah.
That's when we receive, when we're in that vibration, that frequency of love. I love how you said it's not, well, it is a feeling, but there's action to it, or inaction. We really have to know what we're being led. to do or not do, and cultivate it. And what I'm seeing too, or hearing what you're saying, is as we change our focus, we're expanding it. It's a choice whether we choose to expand it or to just shrink back into what's comfortable or familiar. It's a conscious choice.
It's a conscious choice, actually. And when your heart opens, you can start to, your subconscious, and there's a subconscious of the subconscious and more stuff going on. So, I have a background in what we're talking about actually and factually, but when you truly find that flow and cultivate that nature, which is you, inaction or action, you can take the time out to cultivate self-love. Love you more than anything else and spend that time with you, with your essence. And when you do that, the universe sees you honoring you and your nature with the universe, and you energetically, you grow, you expand, but you can hold because you're grounded. And, on all levels. That's why I work with people environmentally, physically, mentally, spiritually, and even nutritionally, because you want to hold that wisdom and anchor it in your spiritual crystalline structures, if you like, so you can hold that energy and use it wisely.
Use it wisely. Okay.
Yeah.
Explain a little bit more about that. How? What do you mean use it wisely?
Because there's some people misuse their power, or you can't. It's an honor to receive worthiness, right, and to receive what you're here to do. And when you're in tune with your values and you're using it to help serve others, self and others, with good intention, that's what I mean by wisely.
Mm-hmm.
So we can be in our stuff, love our stuff, leverage that to move forward to the next level of challenge, which is actually opportunity, and grow and be more of who we are, wisely, because all we have at the end of the day is our love and our wisdom, and nobody can take that away from you. Mm-hmm. All the stuff, the stuff, doesn't go with you. My Angelou said, didn't she say something like, it's ideal to be remembered for how people think of you, or not worrying about what people think of you perceive, but how they felt around you. What kind of ripple effect are you having on yourself and others? Yeah. And I know it's easier said than done in theory, but that's where I mean wisely, because your love and your wisdom is truth. Not because I want a certain outcome of a situation, I'm going to manipulate it or make this person do this or whatever. No. It's going back into your love and wisdom and using your energy wisely. Because, when you care about people, you're communicating in terms of their values. You're honoring them. The Atma Namaste, you're honoring the Atma, the soul in them too. And people can reject your projections, but they won't reject your heart. And that's what I mean as well around love, wisdom, heart, honor, respect.
Yeah. Wow. And I love how the more we understand about ourselves, and on an energetic, spiritual, physical, on every plane, the more then we're able to lift others and serve and co-create, because that's what we're here to do, is to create.
And yes, absolutely. And you see the manifestation of that. And if you've got a vision that's so big, like a moonshot goal or something like that, it's like way out there. It's like, okay, you're probably going to need a collective to support you or collaborate with you to do that, right? I go back to a businessman like Richard Branson, he's got just as much time in the day as we do. He might transcend time a lot quicker because I don't think he's bound by it. On a soul level,
yeah,
he's definitely got the same winning. But at the same time, he leads many people, and he's got the same time in the day that we have, and he's the genius. He's applied his wisdom, and he serves ever greater numbers of people. And if the goal's that big, start with baby steps, because the essence of what you cultivate becomes more of what you cultivate and more of what you bring in to that space that has that essence in it, of you, illustrative of you, with a collective of you, all in alignment. You can't fail. It's like a soul tribe or a tribe, whatever you want to use the wording. So start small.
Start small.
Don't think small, but start humble, and you cultivate and grow from that. You co-create more and more. And tithing, service, because ultimately you're helping someone. Sound like a salesperson now, but it's true. Selling is caring, sharing is caring. And when you communicate your values in terms of others, and you do that through ripple effect, through word of mouth, through referral, through others, through a company, through a community, through a state, to a country, to a globe. And I've been involved in businesses on all of those levels. And my work went very quickly from account or technology role to sales role to management role to leadership roles to district to regional to global roles, and then to cultivating relationships with people en masse through marketing, so that they could connect with the essence of us and lead people with that and create relationships that way that were long sustainable relationships that actually nourished and filled, the world and the pockets of the company to serve ever greater numbers of people. And I didn't just work for small companies. I worked for global, international companies. And through mentoring and leading and leadership and all the skills I've cultivated and learned, and the spirituality, which is why I learned how not to burn out in my 20s. And I've got all this abundance of energy because you practice and you play, you have fun on the way. It's all about fun.
Okay. And I appreciate that. It is play. That gets us in that higher space to be able to have the energy to do all that we want to. And we practice. Well, let's not take it so seriously that, I messed up today, I'm no good. Let's just practice. We're just practicing. And I also appreciate...
Children don't fatigue. Melanie,
yes.
It's like a child doesn't fatigue. People look at me, oh my gosh, your son has so much energy. Yes, I'm quite conserved at the moment. You haven't really seen me in action yet. You've got to play, because the laughter and the play, it goes right into your heart, and you laugh, laugh, laugh. There's no emotion but love and play. You're not fixed and stuck. You receive like that. So have fun on the way. So, and I appreciate also what you said about taking baby steps. So if we're feeling stuck right now, I'm thinking of our listeners, if we're feeling stuck, don't despair, just take a baby step. What's the next step that you can do? How can you create more love in your life or more play and get each little step moving forward? Of finding joy, of finding play and fun. And Melanie, look, I'll just say this, because I know there's some folks on the line that are probably, mamas, women, men, action takers. You and I know if you fail to plan, then plan to fail. And no business plan has been executed to perfection, to the dime, on this date, on this time, because nature is an ever-changing environment. The depiction of stress is the inability to adapt to an ever-changing environment. It's a part of my program, it's master stress and maximize results, or, experience much success in your life on all levels that is important to you. But if you go back to, I have a lot of women reaching out, or mums or whatever, the health has gone off, or the work's taken over, or the relationship's gone off the rails, or something's happened, men, money, or sickness. That's what I see all the time. And for the men, they want, more connection with, they've usually been hit with an ailment. So I get these endurance runners and athletes in their 40s and 50s who've just beat their body to a pulp. But what I'm saying is, it's when you can actually co-create and cultivate your essence and what's important to you in alignment with your priorities, you simply have more to be grateful and thankful for. And when you have a plan to help yourself execute baby steps, but small, high-quality steps, high-quality questions, high-quality actions or inactions, and you align that ever so greatly and slowly, it becomes more aligned, right, with your abundance on all levels, and then the manifestation shows up. Relationships, health, thriving health, abundant health, spirituality, emerging your gifts, the relationship, your soulmate. You know, I have a client that, in fact, she sort of had everything happen in one. CEO, early 40s. She actually came up to me after an executive keynote I did at a spa event, and she was like, I know, whatever it is, whatever you do, I need to work with you. I said, okay, how may I serve? She's like, I'm early 40s, I'm a CEO of a company. I serve, you know, Fortune 500, done well, forgot to have a relationship, and I want to start a family. Beautiful woman, so soulful, divine, so gifted in leading others, and had some tie-ups, you know, with some ex-relationships and things like that we just needed to break through and work through. And men and money, the same, you know, very similar kind of situations, by the way. So we got her back into some of the, you know, I coached and healed and worked through her gifts and what she wanted to do. It's all about you. It's not about me. It's about how I can facilitate for you. And within 5 months, met her soulmate. Also started an entire new division of her business to scale the service through an app in the company, in a technology company that she was CEO of, and outsourced a lot more. Is now married. And turns out she's such a gifted healer. She's such a gifted healer. She's, you know, empowered with the tools that I use and I share with my folks to help serve her family and her business, and applies the spiritual tools in life, in family, and business, and health, and boom, this was only a year and a half ago. She came into my field and she was just ready. You just got to say yes.
That is awesome. I love your enthusiasm and energy, because this is all possible for all of us. It's accessible.
Yes.
That's what makes it so exciting. We can do this.
And you know, one other gentleman I met with yesterday, I mean, he's adorable. He's got a beautiful wife, and he came to me because he had nowhere else to go, post-traumatic viral fatigue. After one session, after training 10 sessions a week, 10 sessions a week to none, post-traumatic viral fatigue, he's just such a divine being. We had one session, within 2 days he's training at 20% capacity again, but he's more mindful and aligned with how he's doing it. So I'm monitoring him throughout the process, you know, so he can get back to doing what he does, and charitable causes and things like that, to serve over greater numbers of people, because I love helping people that help people. So hopefully that gives you a couple of ideas of how some of this stuff gets applied in life, because you're all here to do something great. You wouldn't be attracted to Melanie's work and Melanie's community if that wasn't the case. So I want to remind you of that, as does Melanie.
Thank you. Thank you. This has been profound. You have offered us so much wisdom and nuggets and good information. I hate to end, but I know our time is up. Can you share with us your free gift that you're offering to our listeners?
I would love to. And part of what I mentioned before, so firstly, the gift is how to align with abundance on all levels and really turn stress, whatever it is that you perceive missing or stresses you out and potentially burning you out, into success or into more of what you love. So what I have is a guided meditation for you. It's actually very short. It's 8 minutes. But if you start to do it with me and cultivate that space for yourself of alignment with your higher self, your presence, your poise, your personal power, and feel that, what I do. It's part of what I've transmitted during this call and in the meditation. You can actually take that technique and do it on your own and instantaneously start to do that and cultivate more of that. I also have a soul's inspiration guide and a brief gratitude guide. So when you're present, you're poised, you're in your breath, you're kind kind of balanced, right? Really balanced. You're here right now. You're in that prioritized mode, which is you. Then you can start to channel, right, or write down your plans or your desires from a more powerful place because you deserve it. So, yeah, that's basically it. And the whole sequence, I encourage you to email me and give me some feedback. I've had one lady recently message me, I don't know what was in that meditation, but I did it 5 days in a row and a really difficult relationship at work just transformed. And I'm like, excellent. You know, and some people are like, I've been doing a meditation, I just feel really happy and I just feel more me. Look, if that's all I do and if that's all you get from me, that's all I want. You know, just leverage the work, have a go. And I encourage that you listen to this recording with Melanie and I again. I love Melanie's questions because Melanie knows this stuff. She knows this intimately well through who you serve. And we see it time and time again. So I encourage you to write down some of the golden nuggets of wisdom and listen to all the interviews that Melanie's put together for you to keep you in that zone of your higher self, you know, where your lower will's aligned with your higher will and you're aligned with your higher self and you have a glimpse of who you are to know your nature and not live in fear and guilt. To transcend. Be you. Because you're the best ever. So there you go. That's in the meditation. I'd love for you to enjoy that.
You know, I love what you said. And this is why we do what we do, because we love it when people's lives change for the good. And it's exciting and thrilling to us. It feeds us. Aliky, thank you for that gift. That is exciting to take advantage. I want to tell our listeners, click on the link. It will be on the page. And get to know Aliky. Listen to her meditation, accept that free gift that she's so generously provided, and feel this energy again. I appreciate you so much for being here, Aliky. Thank you.
You are so welcome. And everyone listening, go and make, to you listening, please, from my heart to yours, please love yourself more than anyone else and share that love and go and do and make the impact that you're here to make.
Go and do.
Thank you so much, Melanie. You're a gorgeous soul. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And listeners, thank you for listening. Click on that link. And here, this is Melanie Newman, encouraging each of you to live your life of success, significance, joy, high vibration. Oh, just go and love it. Thanks so much, everyone.